So I was coming home from church the other day, and my wife and I, we wanted to run by the grocery store. So in New York City, there's not like parking lots, so you have to kind of double park. So we double parked, and my wife ran into the grocery store, and I was just sitting there in the car with the kids, and kind of daydreaming, just sitting there, and my daughter says to me, she says, "Daddy, look at that old lady." And I looked out the window, and sure enough, there was an old lady sitting in front of the grocery store, but she wasn't just an old lady, she was a homeless woman. And she was in real bad shape. She had like burgundy scrubs on that were really soiled. She had these tennis shoes that her feet actually stuck out the front of them. She had matted hair, she was dirty. It was real sad. So I just sat there and watched her there in front of the store. She was trying to get some money, and people would walk right by her out of the store, into the store, pay her no mind. People walked down the sidewalk and didn't even look at her. So I just sat there and watched her, and then finally I said to her, I said, "Ma'am, excuse me." So she turned and walked toward me to the car, and I said, what can I do? Can I help you? And she says, "Can you give me $2? And to me, in my mind, I'm thinking, $2? I want to do much more than that. So I said, well, why don't I take you in the store and I'll get you some groceries? And she said, no, thank you, and just kind of turned and walked back to her spot in front of the grocery store. So I watched her, and then finally she actually went into the store, and I think I saw them chase her out because she kind of went right in and came right back out. Went right back to her spot, though, and stood there. So I watched a few more minutes, and finally I just got out of the car and I gave her some money. And she looked at the money, didn't even look up at me, and then just kind of walked right in the store. And I saw her in there shopping, and she bought some things and went out the door, and then went down to the end of the street and sat on a wall and kind of went through her bag. So I watched her, and finally my daughter said to me, she goes, "Daddy, why do you do what you do?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" She goes, "Well, your job, you help people." And I said, "Well, it makes Daddy really sad when people don't have things." I said, like little boys and girls who don't have, food to eat. And she goes, "Okay," as if kind of that was enough of an answer from Daddy. But that night was really special. That night we were doing our prayers, and I said, well, let's pray for that lady. And so my one daughter prayed that she'd get a place to sleep, that she'd get a new pair of shoes. My other daughter prayed that she would get a TV set, and which was kind of funny. But we just prayed for her and prayed that God would take care of her. But it really reminded me that we really live out our faith before people, and people see how we love others. And so it was a great reminder as I live out my life before my kids. So.